Beautiful deep divers, another super hot day, 100 degrees. Look, when the weather is like this, everyone is out and about, sunbathing, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Everyone is just raising the frequency. Of course, they are raising the vibration. Some people are meditating under a tree like Ralph Smart. Okay. Now, what nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. We got a whole lot to talk about. I'm 50% namaste. 50% fuck out of my face. Peace. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. Beautiful deep divers. We are out here in the heart of nature, baby. I hope your day is going well. It is a beautiful day out here. Look, what nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. Right now, in a global pandemic, a lot of people are very introspective. A lot of people have a lot of time to reflect. And many people are undergoing a spiritual awakening. But what nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. I had my massive spiritual awakening in 2006. I haven't been the same person since. In fact, I'm not a person, I'm a being, a human being, and most people are human doings. When you realize you are spiritual beings having a human experience, it's a game changer. And a lot of people wake up to that reality like, oh my gosh, I'm not just Jane Smith or Peter O'Brown. I'm actually a multi-dimensional being having a human experience. Now what? What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. It is so hot out here, deep divers, you could literally cook on the ground. Talking of food, we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello there? Wonderful deep divers, take that, take that, take that. Good ass energy I'm sending you. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. Being spiritual doesn't mean you have to be very positive all the time. Fuck out of my face while I balance these energies, okay? A lot of people think if you're spiritual, you gotta be a saint, you gotta be perfect all the time. No, spirituality is all about authenticity. And authenticity includes both positive and negative. I just had to throw that on you, deep divers. Now, when I had my spiritual experience, deep divers, it was kind of overwhelming because I had just finished studying psychology in university. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so much more than what I've been told. And I realized that I was literally limitless. And this whole entire matrix was a big trap, a big scam. And I wanted to run out and tell everyone. And they didn't get me. They're like, what on earth are you talking about? What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening is that after your spiritual awakening, you are never ever the same again. You don't look the same. You don't feel the same. You don't look at the world with the same eyes. Everything changes. And you can't go back to your old life. You can't pretend like you don't know what's up. It leaves a permanent mark on you. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. You often feel like the odd one out. You go through much of your life misunderstood. You go through much of your life misunderstood. You are misunderstood. You feel like a fringe dweller, an outsider, an outcast. You realize the crowd is the matrix. Many people are merely existing, they're not living. But you know you came here to live. Life is all about feeling alive. But at the same time, you're still dealing with old people in your past life, friends, family who don't get you. You're misunderstood. Some people even judge you because you see the world differently. In your mind, everyone should just be free and happy and doing what they love. And now you've got people around you saying, shut up, get a job, do what everyone else is doing, obey what they tell you in the news, obey what the government tells you, and you're like, hey, let's end lockdown, let's have a party, and let's be free, because that's what we came here to do. Wonderful, deep divers. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening, it can be a lonely road. You're gonna feel alone. As you are waking up, as you are coming into your true power, you're gonna have to go into the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. Better take some water with you, deep divers. Because spirituality is not something you practice. Spirituality is who you are. It is your essence. And what nobody tells you about spiritual awakening is that spirituality is all about finding out who you are. You know that you are not the person who you think you are. You are not what society told you you are. You have to find out who you are, and that means you have to spend time with yourself. Meditating, you got to spend time with yourself. Going hiking, you got to spend time with yourself. Sun gazing, you got to spend time with yourself. Doing a little samba, baby, in the heart of nature to say, actually, I am so much more than what I was told, than even who I thought I was. I'm not a person. A person is a persona. It's a mask. I'm a multi-dimensional being, and I'm limitless. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening, deep divers. Many people have their spiritual awakening. At the same time, they have a dark night of the soul. I told you, spiritual awakening is not all peaches and cream. No, deep divers, you are going to have an ego death just before your massive spiritual awakening. Your ego death is where you strip away this identity you've created in the matrix. All of that has to go. That persona you show on that phony persona you show on social media, that has to die. And many people undergo a huge ego death just before their spiritual awakening. In fact, a lot of people go through a breakdown. It happened to me. I had a breakdown, but I needed the breakdown to have the breakthrough. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. Let's just breathe in that good ass prana, baby. Reading a book about spirituality, about the law of attraction, doesn't mean anything. You have to experience it for yourself. Slow motion this side. There are levels to this shit, deep divers. There are levels to spirituality. And a lot of people say, hey, I'm spiritual. I've had this massive awakening, but your lifestyle is still in the matrix. So you've still got a long way to go. There are levels to this. The highest form of spirituality is where your spiritual awakening experience matches your current reality every single day. When I had my spiritual awakening experience, it was all about me realizing being free is my birthright. It was all about me realizing let love guide you, not fear. And this is the life I'm living. I've literally manifested my own spiritual awakening experience to my everyday life. Right now, I'm as free as a bird, free as a butterfly, as free as a cat down the road. Life is fantastic. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. Many people might call you a conspiracy theorist because you have a mind of your own, because you don't believe in COVID, because you don't believe in the global pandemic, because you don't want the vaccine. Yeah, you're a conspiracy theorist. No, you're not, deep divers. You're not crazy. You're just waking up. Once again, the term conspiracy theorist was created by the CIA to stop people coming out and speaking the truth. As you undergo this spiritual awakening, you are going to see the world so completely different than other people. You realize most people don't think for themselves. The crowd is the matrix. A lot of people are sheep. Monkey see, monkey do. Sheep only follow and get led to the slaughterhouse. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. You realize this is a whole cosmic game. Life is a meme, and that you are a co-creator of your own reality. You realize that it's a lot of responsibility when you wake up, when you undergo that spiritual awakening. Right now it's on you. You can't blame everyone outside there. You can't blame them, because you realize You got more responsibility. As you move from your lower nature to your higher nature, you can't act dumb. You can't pretend like you don't know what's happening. More responsibility. Before my spiritual awakening, Ralph Smart used to hang out at the club. I used to hang out at the club. Go with my friends to the club. Yeah. After my spiritual awakening, I'm like, I'm good, guys. I just want to meditate. Slow motion this side. But what nobody tells you about spiritual awakening is that before enlightenment, chop wood. After enlightenment, chop wood. In other words, you're still a human being. And that means it's okay to be human. Being a spiritual being does not mean you have to be a perfect human being. You can still be angry. You can still throw a temper tantrum. Being spiritual doesn't mean you have to be positive 24/7. Fuck out of my face while I meditate. Okay? You don't have to be a saint. You don't have to be an angel. You have to be real. You didn't come here to be perfect deep divers. You came here to be real. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. In fact, I might go live with this topic, deep divers. Woo! Is this. Everything is connected. Oneness is the ultimate truth. Separation is the greatest illusion. When I had my spiritual awakening, I no longer saw people divided. I no longer saw race. Because I told you race is a man-made concept created by Blumenbach in 1795 to justify the slave trade. Race is an illusion. When you undergo a spiritual awakening, you don't see people as races or nationalities. You see people as human beings. That we are all connected. We are all one. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. Many people start to realize that it can be a journey that is never ending. That is a great adventure. That is, you realize you are an eternal student. You realize enlightenment is knowing how much you don't know. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening, that you didn't come here to be a poor righteous teacher. You came here to live in abundance. Abundance is the highest form of spirituality. Slow motion this side. Abundance is the highest form of spirituality. After my spiritual awakening experience, I got a YouTube Gold Award. I got a #1 best-selling book. I started to inspire millions of people because I realized I was a powerful co-creator. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. 7-day vegan challenge. You're going to be gravitating towards foods that help you to eat to live. You realize that food is information. Shout out to Dr. Sabi, who taught me our body is electrical. Therefore, we have to be eating electrical foods. What nobody tells you about spirituality. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. Religion is for people who are afraid to go to hell. Spirituality is for people who've already been there. I told you I was even raised serving in the church. Then I realized that spirituality goes beyond man-made religion. Spirituality is about having your own experience. You don't have to go through someone to get to God. You are gods and goddesses. We are made from stardust. We are made from the God particle. What nobody tells you. What nobody tells you about spirituality. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening is that all the answers lie within. All you have to do is tap in. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening is that you're going to have to face your shadow. You're going to have to do the shadow work. And when you face your shadow, you realize everything that's happening in the world right now is nothing more than a reflection of the collective. And therefore, you have to change from the inside out, not from the outside in. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening. It is the best thing that could ever happen to you because you realize you aren't this small me. You are powerful beyond measure. Your voice matters. What you do matters. People are listening. You can impact people for the better. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening is that every single day is another opportunity to show the universe what you're made of. And in our greatest challenge, we will find our greatest evolution. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening is that not everyone wakes up at the same time. Many people you know are still in the deep dream spell, hypnotized by the Matrix, watching the fake news, listening to the fake government. But don't judge them, because you were once them. Everyone wakes up at a different time. And therefore you have to allow people their own time to come into their own process. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening, there are levels to it. When you undergo a spiritual awakening, that's cool. But now you have to incorporate that into your life and your lifestyle. Your day-to-day work should be a reflection of your spiritual awakening experience, or you haven't really woken up. You can't say, hey, I've just had a massive spiritual awakening experience and now I'm going to sell alcohol to people. It doesn't work like that. You're still ignorant. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening is that we are never alone. The universe always sends someone. Hey! What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening is that the more you connect with who you are, the more the numbers will align for you. A lot of people are seeing 1111 on their journey. Woo! 1111, 222, 333. The angel numbers. It happens a lot when you are going through your spiritual awakening experience, because as you align with who you truly are, everything aligns around you in a beautiful synchronicity. What nobody tells you about spiritual awakening, your spiritual awakening experience, is that we didn't come here to live in lockdown 24/7. We didn't come here to wear a face mask 24/7. We came here to live free. And those who are undergoing this gigantic spiritual awakening experience know that. And this is why they are standing up for their freedoms. This is why they are saying no. You find your voice. You find your power. And you realize we are the power. That's why we're just saying, feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello? Hey. Beautiful deep divers. I'm just, breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Raising the frequency. You want me to go live with this topic? You want me to go live with this topic, deep divers? Let me know in the comment section. One love to everyone out there. Remind yourself, you are powerful beyond measure. They tried to bury us. They forgot we were seeds. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Nobody tells you there is nothing to fear. You don't have to be afraid of COVID. There's nothing to fear. Fear is the lowest frequency. And that's why they want you there. As you undergo the spiritual awakening, experience, you realize it's all about the love frequency. Shout out to everyone who's been getting the wonderful Good Ass Prana shirts at ralphsmart.com/clothes and spreadshirt.com if you're in America. And if you're a sexy ass model, with a whole lot of heart who wants to model the clothing, well, go and buy some, okay? Add me on Instagram for more daily inspiration at official Ralph Smart, at official Ralph Smart, and Facebook at Ralph Smart, at Infinite Waters, and Snapchat at Good Ass Prana, baby. Check out the new book, Deep Divers, for more powerful, life-changing information just like this. Feel Alive by Ralph Smart on Amazon and at ralphsmart.com/thebook. Remind yourself, spirituality and having a spiritual experience and awakening is not about being perfect. It's about being real. And that means you can allow yourself to feel any emotion you're going through. You can allow yourself to be the work in progress and the masterpiece at the same time. Life is all about evolution. Have a beautiful day, deep divers. Peace. Infinite Waters, diving deep once again. Stay well. Stay healthy. Peace. You become so free when you have a spiritual awakening experience, but it doesn't stop there. You realize you can't rest on your laurels. Every single day you have to do the inner work. You got to work on yourself, deep divers. You got to meditate, because if you do not practice moving into your higher nature, meditating, you can fall back down just like snakes and ladders. So life is about doing the inner work, not just one day, but every day for the rest of your life. What? Slow motion this side. What nobody tells you about your spiritual awakening experience. You're gonna have to go through hell first before you arrive at heaven, but it's well worth it. Look where I am, deep divers. I had to travel through hell, but we finally made it. 100 degrees temperature, deep divers. It's a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day. One love, peace. Go live, Ralph. You want me to go live? Say, go live, Ralph. Have a beautiful day. Peace.